So Bree, thank you very much for having me down here to the Makerbot retail store, which I guess this is the 1-year anniversary.
Yeah, welcome to the Makerbot store. We've been doing this for a year.
What else? Replicator 2, another 1-year anniversary today?
Yep, the Replicator 2 is going strong. We've had a few upgrades to the firmware, and it's a professional machine that professionals can use to do professional things, and then we made it affordable for everybody else.
It's awesome. I'm particularly intrigued by the Makerbot story. And going back to the very beginning, I guess you were a school teacher, right? Before you got into any of this kind of stuff. And what was it about teaching? What drew you to that?
Well, you know, I say I couldn't be a CEO without having been a school teacher first. I've always been a tinkerer. So when I was a school teacher, I was a generalist, but mostly I taught art. So I was teaching young people different ways of expressing themselves and being creative. And my life is really dedicated to empowering creative people to do wonderful things. And next thing I know, I had a video show and I kind of moved into a bigger classroom of the internet, making tutorial videos, and then created this thing called NYC Resistor, which is a clubhouse for hardware hacking nerds. And together we share tools and a clubhouse where we can make anything. And the only tool we didn't have was a 3D printer. And back in 2007, there were like 100 grand. And so we couldn't afford one. And when you're a tinkerer and you can't afford something, you're like, I'm going to make that. And you don't know any better, so you do it. And when it worked, we realized we were onto something, and we decided to make them for everybody else.
What was that breakthrough moment? Was there a particular time or a particular firmware drop that you did, or a particular tweak of the chassis or something like that when you felt like, wow, this is viable?
You know, we thought that we were going to do Makerbot as a part-time job. It would just take a few hours a week, and we'd make like 10 machines a month on the side. And so we decided to make 20. So we had like 10 for 1 month and 10 for the next month. And we launched and told the internet about it, and they sold out instantly. And from that moment on, it was pedal to the metal.
Awesome. And Thingiverse. So Thingiverse is this great place where people can post their objects, their things, and they can share, and they can give feedback. How did that come about?
Yeah, the Makerbot Replicator 2 as a desktop 3D printer is like our primary product. But Thingiverse, at thingiverse.com, is the heart of Makerbot. It's the community. It's where people share their digital designs. And you know, in the beginning, we made it because we wanted a place to share our digital designs. And you can download music and movies and even books. But we thought, you should be able to download things. So we created Thingiverse. And now there's hundreds of things uploaded every day, and things you can make today that you couldn't have made yesterday.
What I like about it is the instant satisfaction. So I got my Replicator 2, I put it in my studio, and immediately I'm like, I need a new camera frame for my GoPro, right?
Yeah.
Downloaded it and printed it out. It was total instant satisfaction, and something very practical too. So it's very interesting to have this unique culture. I almost think of it as like a culture where people can really interact with each other, refine each other's designs, and now you've got sort of customizations that you can do on things. Tell me a little bit about that.
So, I mean, one of the things about Makerbot is that it's made for professionals, but affordable for everybody else. And so, it's literally being used to prototype the next generation of space exploration vehicles, but you can have one at home and make a replacement doorknob if you need it. So it's this nice, it's a universal tool. Thingiverse is just the most wonderful place where people share things. And customizers, which are these applications on Thingiverse, customizers are places you can go, and people have created objects that you can customize and make your own. So like the Nokia Lumia series phones, you can go on Thingiverse and customize the actual case. It's not even like it's part of the phone. It's the back to the phone that holds the battery in. And you can put your Twitter handle on it. You can choose the geometric shape and how much you want them to overlap. And you can really be a designer of a case and make something that's your own without ever having to open up a CAD program. So this is super powerful for people who are getting into it. Like you said, people start off and they download cool stuff. And the next step is to start configuring objects and making them your own and becoming a designer. And next thing you know, you're gonna come out with your own line of widgets of whatever whatever you dream of.
Yep. I've already started that process. It's totally fun.
And I will say it's interesting. You mentioned the GoPro thing. We made the Makerbot for engineers, industrial designers, and architects, people to use these in their professional lives. But one thing we didn't expect is how many hardcore camera obsessives there are out there. There's more than 400 designs for things that will attach to a GoPro camera.
Yeah.
And people who are into film cameras, there's all these designs for these rigs that you take an SLR camera and you like put it on your shoulders. All these things you can make on a Makerbot to make things that cost thousands of dollars, but cost dollars of material when you have a Makerbot.
Yeah,
So,
I actually designed a Manfrotto tripod to GoPro Hero 3 adapter with the LCD backpack, and I use it in the studio. It's totally practical.
and if you've shared that on Thingiverse, now when the other people like you in the world need that, they go and they search for it and they go, oh, I don't have to design that because you made it.
Yeah, and it will be on Thingiverse once I get the back cover sliding design optimized.
Yeah, it's a process.
Yeah. So the Makerbot story is awesome, and coming up to today, this 1 year anniversary of the Replicator 2 in the store, the current suite of products. You've got the Replicator 2, and that is the latest iteration of the printer. What was it about the Replicator 2 that was so new and different compared to the previous replicators?
So the original replicator, the original Makerbot replicator was the first machine that we launched that was fully assembled. Before that, all Makerbots were kits, and it took sometimes weeks for people to be able to put these things together.
Which is great for some people, right? Because they're into it. But if you just want to print.
Yeah. the original Makerbot replicator, you just took it out of the box and it worked.
Yeah.
The thing that's different about the Makerbot replicator 2 is we really just tightened everything down. So it's just ultra high tolerance. You've got a 410 cubic inch build volume, which is just huge build volume. It's like a shoebox. And you've got, you can get, with some practice, you can get to 100 micron layer resolution at high resolution. And most people don't need that, but if you're going to make something really beautiful, you can go to that resolution. And I think the other big difference was it didn't look like, the Makerbot Replicator 2 doesn't look like a hobbyist project. It looks like something an engineer or a designer would put on their desk. And you can get it in any color as long as it's black, right? And we really focused on making the whole experience just friendly and easy to use, so that just reduce the barriers to people getting into it. When we started, you had to surface mount all your components onto the bare boards to get into it. Now you just order a Makerbot or come to our retail store, take one home, and you're making. You've got a manufacturing education in a box.
Cool. So speaking of the experience, I've noticed with the frequent firmware upgrades that you guys drop that the printing actually gets better. It works better, it looks better. Tell me about, why do you guys do that? Why do you guys keep releasing firmware for products that are already out on the market, and what's kind of your philosophy around that?
Yeah, we're really proud of that, our ability to iterate. And I think in some ways we're eating our own dog food. We empower people to iterate, and with a Makerbot Replicator 2, you can iterate multiple times a day instead of multiple times a year, which is kind of traditionally how prototyping works. So it really changes the game. It means that product designers can have an idea, they can make it, and if they don't like it, they can throw it away and they don't have to show their boss. They can just make another one. And as we've, for us, it's a matter of we wanted to get, the Makerbot Replicator 2 hardware is rock solid, beautiful, works, and with the firmware, we have the ability to always be improving it. And we just, it's actually, there's kind of, it's subtle things sometimes. Like we just launched the new rafts, which mean that leveling is a lot less stressful. And when you make something, you just pop it off a raft and it's just got a beautiful bottom. So,
yeah, I've noticed that, the new pattern and whatnot.
Yeah, and then we can do fun things too. Like we're engineers, so we're a little geeky and nerdy. And so now instead of, in hexagons inside your object to add structural stability, we've got, you can put cats and it'll draw cats inside of your object. And then for Shark Week, we did sharks. So, there's the, we're living the dream. We're doing our best to make it easy for people to make wonderful things and change the world.
It is every maker's dream to take your passion and to create a successful business around that.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. Yeah. So the big news this week is the digitizer, right?
Yeah,
So
the Makerbot Digitizer Desktop 3D Scanner.
the full name. Tell me about it.
You know, the Makerbot Digitizer is an easy and fast way to get a digital design ready for your Makerbot. You don't need to know any CAD. All you need to do is be able to stick something on that turntable and go. You know, my two-year-old daughter is getting into Play-Doh. She's going to be able to do her first manufacturing project before she turns 3. Because she's going to make something out of Play-Doh, we're going to put it on the Makerbot Digitizer. And then we're going to go into production. She's going to have gifts for her family and friends, right?
That's awesome.
So, but once it gets out there, we don't know what will happen.
Well, imagine what will happen on Thingiverse, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you'll just be having stuff coming from all over the place.
It's funny. I've been using a Makerbot Digitizer on my desk for about 2 weeks, and I've probably got about 100. Before the 2 weeks, I had about 100 things on Thingiverse that I designed. In 2 weeks, I've added 50.
Wow.
So, I think Thingiverse is just going to explode with all sorts of interesting things, whether it's carburetor parts or, you know, kitsch from your grandma's shelf. It's going to be super interesting to see what pops out.
Awesome. So speaking of exciting, you know, that's where we're at today, but let's talk a little bit about what's up next. And I know one of those things is you guys have been quite involved, Makerbot has been, in the 3D printing support that's built into Windows 8.1.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that process.
Well, we started making friends with the Microsoft teams, and we realized we've shared the same vision of making it easy for people, a smooth workflow for people to go from idea to thing. And so we worked really closely with 8.1 developers to make it so that 3D printing was more like 2D printing. And you know, our software Makerware is great if you want for bringing things in and manipulating it and putting it on the build plate or scaling it. But sometimes you just want to, you know, take a 3D model and send it to your machine quickly and smoothly, and that's all you want to do. And the support for 3D printing in Windows 8.1 is very deep and very powerful. And the funny thing about it is, if we've done our job right, you're not going to notice it at all.
Absolutely.
It's just going to be easy.
Yep.
So, you know, it's hard to, it's funny, like, let's brag about the thing that nobody, if we did it right, nobody will ever know about.
Right.
It's exciting. It makes it easier for Windows users to just go, you know, straight to the 3D printer.
So the other thing it opens up is the whole sort of ISV ecosystem, right? Now any app can easily print to a 3D printer, including Makerbot, obviously. So tell me about some of the apps that you'd like to see come out or that you're excited about. You know,
I think we're going to see, there's a whole realm of applications that have created 3D data, and you know, whether, you know, for games and visualizations and stuff like this. And I don't think it's going to be that far away for when people go, oh, you know, here's the hike I'm going to hike this weekend, and they pull it up on Bing Maps, and then they go, okay, let's print that. So we have a model of that. And then they go climb a mountain, and they're like, here's a little mountain, and we're right here, and they're on the top of a mountain. I think that there's a huge opportunity for developers right now to blaze a trail and innovate and use 3D printing as just as a tool in their toolbox to make wonderful experiences for their users.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more of those apps come, and I might even write some myself.
Yeah, bring it on. You know, our teams are excited and making their fingers go like this, so it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Well, hey, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me. Good luck with the Digitizer launch. Lots of excitement around that this week, and I think I'm just going to kind of look around the store here and check out what you guys have.
Yeah, make yourself at home. Check it out.
Thanks.